Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Carl Azus, and I'm pumped to welcome you to this special edition of CNN Student News. We're taking an in-depth look at the country's young labor force, its financial picture, its student loan debt, advice for when it comes time to look for a job in the online era. We've teamed up with CNN Money to focus today's show on some of the financial challenges facing this newest generation of American workers. A good place to start is to define it. We're talking about people born in the 1980s and 1990s. It's time to meet the millennials.
Hey millennials, what makes you so special anyway? Well, for starters, that generation is the biggest in American history. There are at least 80 million people aged 18 to 35. They're the most educated generation ever, and they have the student loan debt to show for it. The average student loan balance for someone under 30 years old, more than $21,000.
Currently have $46,000 in debt.
I have about $54,000 and $95,000 in student debt.
Scarred by the Great Recession, millennials have been reluctant to buy a house.
I don't think I plan to buy a home at any point.
It never occurred to me that I would purchase a home.
I really believe in the sharing economy.
30% still living with their parents, but most millennials say they want to buy, and some are starting to take the plunge.
My goal for a down payment is $20,000, and I'm actually achieving that goal, and I'm going to get there quicker than I actually thought.
Living in mom and dad's basement means fewer millennials are tying the knot. Their parents probably got married in their early 20s. This generation, 30 is the new normal, and they're waiting to have kids too.
I don't want to bring a child into the world until, I know that I can afford that.
Millennials are the first generation born online. They're tech savvy, which makes them quick learners and smart shoppers. But they care about much more than just the bottom line. So companies have to adjust to make their products more sustainable, higher quality, and customizable. That's what millennials want.
The ethics are very important to me.
I'm looking for authenticity.
It's good to know that it will go to a good cause if it goes to a good company.
Ready or not, millennials are dramatically changing expectations and shaping the world.
Okay, you just heard it. The average student loan balance for millennials, savings lost in the Great Recession, a weak job market for young people, the costs of college. These are some reasons why students have loan debt. According to the College Board, the average tuition and fees for a public four-year college in America, more than $9,000 a year for in-state students, $23,000 a year for out-of-state students. Average tuition at a private school, more than $31,000 a year. How much money college students borrow depends, but they are expected to pay it back.
Generation Y, generation debt.
For grad school, I probably have about $10,000.
$95,000.
For undergrad, I have probably less than $2,000.
It's probably not a good thing that I don't know how much student debt I have.
Today I have about $75,000. $54,000.
I went for 4 years.
$40,000-ish.
And I took summer class.
$46,000.
I stopped taking math in 9th grade.
Over $100,000.
$114,000. What that leaves me with in the end, I don't know.
Millennials have the most student debt in history. Here are the 5 biggest mistakes you can make. Number 1, borrowing as much as you can, not just what you need. Take it from the student loan guru.
Well, the first thing is to just live like a student while you're in school, so you don't have to live like a student after you graduate. The time to reduce your debt is before you borrow, not afterwards.
Mistake number 2, not graduating in 4 years. Only 39% of you graduate on time. That extra victory lap, or 2, is expensive. Mistake number 3, being unrealistic about future earnings. Apply this rule of thumb. Your student loan debt at graduation should not be greater than your annual starting salary when you graduate.
Well, I should be paying about $350 a month, and that's about half my check. I studied to be an actress, and that is a job that requires a lot of financial flexibility, and that's not something I've been able to really pursue.
Mistake number 4, overlooking public in-state colleges. A lot of times, those schools offer the best return on investment.
Going to an in-state public college as opposed to a private nonprofit college can save you about half the cost.
Mistake number 5, Missing student loan payments. Once you're in default, it's next to impossible to discharge those loans in bankruptcy and harder to qualify for student loan forgiveness programs.
Because the debt is there, a lot of my plans have been on hold until that's more under control.
I can't plan ahead any more than like a month.
It's a pretty heavy burden.
I can like see the end of the month and I'm like, if I can get there and have another month to set up what I'm doing with my life.
Bottom line, borrow less, budget more.
In a non-competitive job market, when employers are aching to have people on their payroll, the interview tips are pretty simple. Be on time, practice answers to common questions, highlight how your skills can help the company you're interviewing for. This is a competitive market, and it seems millennials in particular have to do homework to nail their interviews.
Now, the bad reputation is probably undeserved, but rule number one, anyone walking into a job interview should take special care not to reinforce that stereotype of being lazy, spoiled, and conceited.
No, I'm actually pretty good at job interviews.
Every time I think I'm an interview, I don't really worry about it because I assume that I'll get the job.
Number two, clean up your social profile.
I recently discovered that my Twitter account from like 2011 that I haven't accessed in years was somehow public.
I try to keep my Facebook pretty clean. Also, I'm friends with my parents.
Get on LinkedIn. Google yourself. Your prospective new boss will. Number three, be ready for the background check. Many employers look at credit history when they run pre-employment background checks on potential new employees. If you're not paying your student loans or you're carrying big credit card balances, the hiring manager can see it. Especially in positions that require some financial responsibility, this can be a big red flag. Number four, don't lie.
I have lied on the job interview. I have told jobs that I'm not going back to school to pursue my degree.
A Career Builder poll found an astonishing 58% of employers say they have caught lies on resumes. It's too easy to get caught, and if you get away with it at first, you can expect to lose your job down the road when it's uncovered. Number five, know the company. Is it a public company? Where is it based? What are the lines of business, and who are the bosses in those lines of business? And most important, who do you know at that company who can vouch for you?
It's not always what you know, but it's who you know, and just making these personal connections with people can go further than, the best resume.
You'll be hearing you're hired before you know it.
Well, that concludes today's special edition of CNN Student News. We hope we got it right on the money, that you're able to cash in on your newfound knowledge, that everything made sense, and that you'll invest another 10 minutes of commercial-free coverage. I'm Carl Azus.